What's up, everybody? I am back with the Hoka Rocket X3. I wanted to get you some content on this yesterday after I finished my 17-mile long run, but then I ran into a whole lot of tasks that I had to complete and things that I had to do. So by the time I got home, I was pretty much just cooked. And so I'm back today early in the morning on the Monday after the long run with some thoughts about how the run went that I wanted to share with you. Right, I'm going to keep this pretty brief because we did a really in-depth review initially on this. So the first thing that I noticed, the first review that I did on this talked a lot about heel lift and the impossibility of finding a good lockdown. That issue persisted through the first 10 out of 17 miles on my long run. Right? That's bad. For me, it was really bad. I was constantly retying, readjusting the shoes. I was able to get a relatively good fit on the left shoe pretty quickly. The right shoe was the one that took a really long time to find a good lockdown on. And even when I did, it wasn't perfect. I do feel like I'm going to struggle through this the next time I run in them, but probably for a little bit less time. And like I said in the last video, I am a person who struggled through the Adios Pro 3, so my determination typically will outweigh a fit issue. The couple other things that stem from the issue, though, were that this does feel short, and I saw somebody talking about this where they were saying how Hoka fits them half size like down, so they need to half size up in order to get a good fit. I'm not going to do that because I don't know, number one, if Hoka would swap this out for me. I'm not going to buy another pair. And, you know, if you're not going to make your fit correctly, if that's what is actually going on here and you don't have your fit dialed in, as a shoe company that makes shoes, that's a ding against the shoe, and that's a ding against your production line. But it's not short enough for me to even go down that path anyways. It's just this toe cap here is a firmer feeling piece of fabric. It has like an underlay or something, like a protective toe cap, but that on, and it's not so much like specific length, it's specific like on the medial side, it's both narrow and short, so it curves in a little too early, and I think that going up half a size would probably resolve it, but then the shoe would be too long because the length is not the issue. So there's one observation from the run. Second observation from the run, I got back from it and my legs were shattered, like from the soleus all the way up to the glute, both sides of my legs. My body was in pain, and that's not something I'm accustomed to unless I cramp on a run, where like if I'm in, and this has only really happened in both of my marathon races, but if my legs start to cramp, obviously I'm going to be in pain afterwards because the muscles are just constantly contracting and decontracting, and like that will cause a significant amount of soreness the next day. It wasn't that. It was as if the impact forces from this were heightened, right? So that's observation number 2. Observation number 3, this is a positive observation. Once I got it locked down, the rocker on this is just really, it works with my stride, or it works with my mechanics extremely well. So a very strongly positive thing there. I mean, this is a better rocker than the Cielo X1. I think just marginally better rocker on this, because that's also a really decent, like, to fantastic rocker, but this is just a little bit more pronounced, or a little less gradual, I guess I should say. So it feels like, I don't know, a little more race ready. And I was also hitting, once I got into a rhythm, I was hitting a little bit quicker paces with this. Not supremely quick, but because it's a long run, I wasn't trying to go quick, but it was hitting better paces. And I felt like I was just being like rocked along. Another observation, it was pretty stable once I did get the lockdown down. I stopped having the issue of sliding inside of the shoe because it was locked down. And this is something that I talked about yesterday, but yesterday, or 2 days ago, rather, on Saturday, when I did the first review for this, I was explaining how on my left side, it was completely stable the whole time. On the right side, where I was having the persistent heel slip, it wasn't unstable because of the platform of the shoe, but because of the bad lockdown where my foot was sliding inside the shoe, not like rolling ankles, but non-confident footfalls because of the foot sliding within the shoe. So those were some of my observations. The final one, and this is a really alarming one, is I heard a cracking sound on one of my foot strikes, and then came back to discover there's a pretty good scratch here, and some of the foam got chunked and cut in two. Now, I was just running on a sidewalk. I don't know what that is. Clearly, the foam is not durable, right? That's just pretty obvious to me. And even in some spots, it's going to be maybe not the easiest to pick up on the camera, but the rubber there starting to wear a little bit. It's like 30 miles on this, yeah. And like up here, you could see the rubber started to wear a little bit. And 30 miles. That's not good. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, those are my observations. I really do like the way it looks. I do like this winglet plate here. I think it does add to the stability at least a little bit. The foam is really responsive. It's dual layer Peebo construction. I think perhaps the reason my legs were feeling pain at the end of the run was due to this top layer of Peebo being maybe a little bit too soft. Also, it's a 17-mile long run in which I was fiddling with the fit for a very long time. So it could really come down to, the amount of varied fit that I had underneath my foot. I don't really think that's what it is. I think there's something particularly harsh about this that doesn't really replace, like, that does not happen to me in the Cielo X1, right? And I know there's a little bit apples to oranges, but if this is what they're trying to position to be the more stable, more cruisery racing shoe long term, then yeah, that's kind of an issue. And again, you might have missed it in the last review I did because I sort of tacked it on to the end of the review, but this feels like a higher drop to me than 7 mil. Feels more like 8 or more of a drop, and that might put a few people off. That also might encourage a few people to buy it. For me, I don't like that. I think that we should start to see most shoes drop below 6 realistically. And for me, right, that's just where I get along with shoes the best. There's a decent body of science to suggest that, at least for foot health, right? I'm not making any claims about performance. I'm not making any claims about your physiology as a whole, but at least for foot health, it is better for the foot to be in a flat plane, and it allows the foot to function as feet evolved to function, right? I'm not saying shoes should be zero drop. I'm not saying, like, even some of these foams, not this one specifically, but some shoes where the softer foam is in the heel and the firmer foam is in the forefoot, those might need to have a steeper drop, because if you're landing on the softer heel, the dynamic drop might be a little bit different. And so you need to get that flat plane in a dynamic sense figured out, right? So it's all about engineering and stuff that I don't really understand, and it doesn't really even matter for the purpose of this small update on the Hoka Rocket X3, but this is one thing that I did notice with the Rocket X3 is that it felt like a higher drop than what I prefer and than what I think they're claiming here. And I'm wondering if Run Repeat gets their hands on this, what type of testing they do to figure out what the heel to toe drop is. I'll be paying attention to that and probably let you all know when that comes out. So, and if you guys have a good way to measure not just heel stack, but forefoot stack, if you know of any like tools or implements that I could get to do both, right? Because like a caliper isn't going to necessarily work for forefoot stack because you would have to probably adjust for the way that I was thinking about doing it is get like a curved caliper, the ones that bodybuilders use to measure their body fat count, and then flatten out the forefoot and then measure from, I guess we'll figure out what point I need to measure from to take the stack, and do the same for the heel. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know if that's actually like a scientific enough for me to even to make that worthwhile to do. So if you have any tool recommendations or statistics or data points that you would like to see me collecting in these reviews, I'm not the most statistical or like, it's not, I'm more free form of a human being. So that might be a little meticulous for me to try to do, but I'm happy to do it to bring you the information that you need to make an informed decision. So do just let me know what you would like to see more of in these reviews. And I'll continue to run in this. I'm overall kind of disappointed in it as a shoe, but it does feel like a super shoe when you get it rolling. It has taken me so much to get it rolling. And I'm also pretty wary about the durability here. Like, I don't think I'm sure I stepped on something, but I don't know if any other shoe would respond exactly how this one did. I mean, it scraped the plate, it like chipped off some foam, the rubber's kind of decaying a lot already. It's not holding up well over 30 miles or just over 30 miles. So that's all I have. I appreciate your attention. Yeah, keep sending me suggestions, feedback. I have heard some really kind and genuinely heartwarming things from you all, and for that, I also appreciate you. So have a good Monday, and I'll see you guys soon.